Hello learners, welcome to Learn to Empower. In this session, we'll be looking into one of the most important and most geopolitical issue of present time, that is the Russia-Ukraine conflict and crisis. We'll be looking into each and every aspect, what is the issue and what could be the way forward that arises from this issue. Without wasting any of our time, let's quickly look into what is the issue all about. Now, in the story so far is that the Russia actually set up its military bases. It has pumped its military to the eastern part of the Ukraine. You can see in this region that the Russia has sent its military bases here and it has been ready for a full-fledged war. Now, whether we can expect a war or not, we don't know exactly. Let's look into what could be the possible reason why Russia is doing all this. Right now, the main bone of contention is that Russia is saying to United States that don't expand NATO membership, North Atlantic Treaty Organization membership. Before understanding the NATO, you should understand two most important theories of the geopolitics, that is the Heartland Theory and the Rimline Theory. Heartland Theory is given by John Mackinder and the Rimline Theory is given by Spikesman. I want to make you clear that the Heartland Theory is been given by the member of the UK and the Rimline Theory is been given by the member of USA. Right. Why I am saying the name of the country, you will understand the viewpoints of these members who have given this theory will differ from country to country, especially with respect to UK and with respect to the United States. Now, among these two theories, the Heartland Theory was the first theory and the Rimline Theory was the second. Heartland Theory says that the heartland of the Russian region is very, very important because it acts as a fortress. What is meant fortress? It is a built up area from which the other countries cannot attack the particular region. Right. This is a theory that was given during the time of 1904 and it was considered as the most valid theory till the World War II. Now, the second theory which came criticism to the Heartland Theory is a Rimline Theory. Rimland is a region which is the area that is surrounding the Russian region. According to the Rimline Theory author Spikesman, he said that the heartland is not important, it's a rimland which is important. If you cover up the rimland regions of the Russia, then you can completely control the Russia's heartland. Right. I'm not going in detail of these theories because this is the most geopolitical theory. If you have a geography optional, you will get a very clarity on this. But I want to quickly say that everybody of this theory who have given it has looked Russia has the most important region and the fortress of the particular European region. And you can understand that they were always saying that if you're able to control the heartland, you can control the entire Europe. And if you're able to control entire Europe, you can control entire the world. So let's quickly look into what the other issues that is been there with respect to Russia and Ukraine. Now, what Russia's demand? Russia's demand is that please USA don't expand the NATO membership. For example, what is the NATO? NATO came as a result of consolidating the regions of the Rimland. This is the Rimland, right? Now, what are the members of this Rimland? The Ukraine, right, and the Eastern European countries like Latvia, Lithuania, etc. Now, you should also understand Ukraine is not the member of the NATO. Till now, Ukraine is not the member of the NATO, but the Latvia, Lithuania and other countries are the members of the NATO. Now Russia is bone of contention is that already you have taken Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania into the NATO membership. The NATO, one of the bone of contention with this NATO membership is that if any countries that try to attack on the NATO countries, then it will be considered as attack on the mainland USA. Then USA comes with its forces and attacks the other, the aggressive force, right? So you can understand the bone of contention of Russia because these three countries shares borders with Russia. So since these three countries shares borders with Russia, it is directly affecting the geopolitics of Russia, right? Geopolitics of Russia. Now, Russia is saying this since 1990 when the German unification was happened, because after the German unification, the NATO membership was expanded so that when initially it was only had 12 members, but later it had 30 members, even including the Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania. Please remember, these three countries were earlier part of USSR. Right. Now, to stop the expansion of NATO from the eastern side of the Europe, Russia started its something called as Warsap Act. There are many countries were part of the Warsap Act, that is Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, etc. The Central Asian countries were part of the Warsap Act. It is considered as a neo-Cold War that has happened because the NATO membership on the one side and the Warsap Act on the other side. Now, till now, it has been said that the expansion of the NATO is one of the reasons where the USA is been controlling the Rimland region. As I said before, Rimland region is something where you have the access to the ports, you have access to the military power. When that region is been consolidated, then it can easily take the Russia, which is a mighty power. So the main bone of contention of Russia not to consolidate the Rimland region. Now, what is the US response till now? US has said to Moscow that it is not going to stop the open door policy. What is the open door policy? The NATO membership will continue. Whoever country who wants to join the NATO membership, USA is not going to stop them. Rather, it will allow the member countries. Right. This is the bone of contention with respect to Russia, where Russia is not saying this is a welcoming step. Even Russia said, you have expanded till now. I don't want any more expansion to my doorstep. So please stop this. Now, one more thing you need to understand that NATO in foreseeable future, it is going to expand rather than compromising on any terms, because you can understand there is a mighty power USA that is backing the NATO membership. Now, what is Putin's option in front of Ukraine? For example, you might ask that the Ukraine is a neutral country here because Ukraine is not part of the NATO. Then what is the issue? The point is that Ukraine might join the NATO membership anytime sooner. So the bone of contention with respect to Russia, with respect to Ukraine is the same. If the Ukraine able to join the NATO membership, then there should be certain region should act as a buffer. Now you can understand these three regions acted as a buffer because earlier in 2014, Russia annexed the Crimean Peninsula from Ukraine through the referendum. Right. Since this was annexed through the referendum, there is a two separatist movement is going in the Luhansk region and Donetsk region, where the supporters of Russia are conducting themselves a referendum, or they are expressing a full support to the Russia. Since if these three provinces were made out of the Ukraine, then these provinces can consolidate and act as a buffer. So to control Ukraine indirectly, Russia is using the geopolitics of this particular region, and USA understands this very well. That's the reason why USA is sending its troops to the Ukraine. Now you should understand that Russia actually surrounded the Ukraine and it has moved the troops in all the three sides of Ukraine. You can understand even Russia has moved its troops towards the Moldova. If war broke out, then the forces from all the three sides will be attacking the Ukraine. Now, it also apprehension started that Russia might attack any time. Then Ukraine actually asked the support from USA. USA has sent its troops for the military training rather than supporting the war directly. It said it going to support the Ukraine militarily by training. Now, what will be the India's position here? You should understand the India's diplomatic position, because when Crimean Peninsula was annexed in 2014, India remained silent. India said the resolution should be taken with the conscience. Right. And in the United Nations Security Council, when there was a resolution passed against Russia that there is some kind of human rights violation that has been happening in Crimea, India abstained from voting. It is not only the new, whenever the Ukraine actually brought any resolutions regarding the Crimean Peninsula or with respect to any kind of human rights violation with respect to Russia in the Crimean Peninsula, India has abstained from it. What does it prove? It proves that India wants a closer relationship with Russia rather than supporting Ukraine directly. Right. Now, You can also understand there is one more point. In 2020, India voted against the Ukraine-sponsored resolution in the General Assembly that sought the condemn the alleged human rights violation in Crimea. As I discussed before, India has abstained consistently with respect to Ukraine resolution with respect to the Russia. Now, India has maintained the status quo position since the Crimean Peninsula annexation. Now, is war imminent? See, the stage as set for the war. Now the stage is very well set for the war, but you need to understand this is not an easy one. You should understand the importance of diplomacy, right? Now every country is trying their best to understand what can be the diplomatic solution that can be bought from here, right? So we expect that there cannot be war, because war is not the solution for anything, because war from any side is affecting all the countries, not only from militarily position but also the economic position and also from the human right position, right? So we don't want war till now, but we expect some kind of diplomacy that has been happening. What we can take from here, India should participate in this diplomatic position and should have a consistent position with respect to the Ukraine, with respect to Russia and with respect to USA, and should brought out some kind of resolution where the war can be averted at any cost. And USA should also understand the interest of Russia in its region, that it doesn't want the NATO expansion. So USA should consider this point, and USA should stop the open door policy of NATO. Rather, it should be consistently to be reduced, and it should make as a closed door policy. Right. I hope this has made a crystal clear understanding what is happening with respect to the Ukraine and USA and also Russia. So we are going to come up with the similar kind of analysis with respect to other important issue. If you find this video really helpful, then you can share, subscribe to the channel. Till then, take care. Thank you.